our final speaker is Rosalind Copisarow, who I've had a wonderful time working with over the last few months on the Climate Action Group in the Board of Deputies, along with Talia, who some of you will meet later, and Lawrence, who will be here in October. Anyway, over to Rosalind from West London.
Thank you very much, everybody. Lovely to be with you all. And I should also co-introduce the chair of West London Synagogue's Green Team, Charlotte Axelson, because she's on this call here. Should really be making this presentation rather than me. But as I've been a deputy and part of this lovely climate action group, I got to do it. And I want to see if I can split the screen between my little presentation and being able to still see you. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to give you a tiny bit of context, because you're all going to feel much better about all your activities that you're struggling with when you realize what we've been facing in the background in terms of small is beautiful and we are large. We'll give you a short story of how our green work started with a sort of continuation of activities, where we are to achieve, and a couple of the activities that are significant within that. And then I've just listed a couple of documents which are longer and more detailed that I'm very happy to share with anybody afterwards who'd like to have them. We were established in 1840, and we're in central London, which now means that many of our members live far away from us because the property prices make it unaffordable to be on the doorstep. So how they get into the synagogue is a big challenge. It's pretty large. And does large mean easier? Not necessarily, because we also have, as you see, all these staff and committees and rabbis and 18-member board. So the decision-making to make change happen is one of the two biggest challenges that we face. And I'm just being frank with you. That is what happens when you're large. So it just makes the flexibility just a bit more difficult. And the other big challenge we've got is that our building is Grade 2 listed. It was built in 1870, absolutely beautiful. All welcome to come and visit. It's pretty large, 2,700 square meters total premises, including an independent school, but no land. I'm just thrilled to listen to the Edinburgh story and wish we had a garden. We started trying to make a roof garden, but we don't have external land. So that's the circumstances that we're working within. And we started our green team with just a couple of people in 2019. We completed the eco audit. We were extremely honoured to receive a gold award, and work were really pushed by volunteer individual members, not by the synagogue itself. So the impetus for our green work has come from, especially young people have been really inspired, including teenagers and children, really putting the grown-ups on the spot and saying, what are you guys doing about this? I've just put some examples of early work that we did, tree planting expeditions for children, the first steps towards a roof garden, waterside rubbish collection. We were involved in an early reverse tashli together with Rabbi Mark's congregation, who I see is on this call. It's wonderful. And to pick up rubbish from waterside. We had a special design for last year's Sukkah, featuring 3 eco charities that really raised awareness. And we, including, I should mention, one of the things that we really wanted to do was get the synagogue management and leadership and board to feel that this was not just an external project of members doing their thing they were interested in, but something that should be integrated into the inner workings of the synagogue. So we put up, I think, quite a provocative Green Team logo. And we also upgraded our recycling facilities in the building, and we also promoted for within our High Holy Day appeal support for an eco charity, which is Leket in Israel, that does some fantastic work recycling food that comes from restaurants and hotels and so this list is a small list of many different things we did, and just responding to Benita's struggles over the vegetarian food, please feel that you're in a friendly group here. You're not the only ones. Our push for that landed up with a rejection, outright rejection, but I think that we will be towards cheaper option for people who choose a vegetarian option, so that it's somewhat incentivized. And also the other thing that I was reminded of in everybody's previous presentations is that difficult changes often require regular votes. So when you think about how the slave trade was finished, or you think about how women were admitted to gentlemen's clubs, or any of these difficult things, that often the vote had to come before the board or the membership over a period of 10 or 20 years, every other year, and the percentage agreeing just got more and more. So I'm on a keep going and persist mode here. Sorry. So we want to really keep going to try to move the motivation, enthusiasm, and commitment to greening our community from the external members to the internal core of the synagogue as much as possible. And in addition, we'll be measuring how much we can reduce our actual carbon footprint. And the third big goal, I think, is to increase member involvement beyond those who are already completely. With those three goals in mind, two of the activities that I wanted to just mention, because I've got supporting documents for them, I can share with you, anybody who wants later, are the fairly detailed set of eco-governance policies, tools, authorizations, HR mechanisms, job descriptions, other things that we created to support the management, the staff, and the tricky way one has to be able to build teams of hybrid teams of volunteers, trustees, staff, paid staff, and board members in a large organization in a streamlined way where people don't get muddled up with each other. So we created those tools, and we're in the process of trying to get them reviewed and approved by the board. But meantime, they can act as a potentially useful wish list for anybody to start with if they're looking for how they want to try and create some frameworks for their synagogue's eco activities. And the second thing we did that I'll just mention here is we applied for a small grant, a technical eco auditor, to do a review of our building, which, as I mentioned, is historic. It's got drafty ancient windows, it's got old boilers, very old boilers, and we've asked him to give us recommendations on the quick wins that we can do ourselves at low cost, on higher cost recommendations, which will then enable us to apply money. And in addition to those things, to give us through 2 workshops, our members and their families in their own homes, and also the social action beneficiaries we support, who include asylum seekers and homeless people and victims of disasters like Grenfell victims, top tips for how they can go greener and save money at the same time. So that is in process now, that eco audit, and we'll be able to give further updates on that. But to give you a sort of scale of why we think that this can be incredibly useful for anyone who wants to greenify their building, that 5,000 was a requirement to be able to apply for 50,000 in the next round for a feasibility study if we're going to convert part of our heating to a renewable base, for example, or something that has higher capital cost. And then assuming the capital cost is anything between 300,000 and 500,000, which it might well be for our building, the third level of grant will provide up to 150,000 towards that. So we're on the first rung of the ladder here to try to really move towards. And so the grant application includes a lot of things that I think could be useful if anybody wants to apply for a grant from their own local authority, that you could just please feel free to copy and paste anything that you think is useful. We spent some time researching how public sector grant providers think and what they like, so that we put in the right words and we were fortunate to be successful in that. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much.